Please join me. God, we do give thanks for this time, this place, for the energy and the love that we feel in the room. We know, God, that this is your presence. It shows up as joy and laughter and love and forgiveness and hope and peace, abundance, prosperity, and healing on every level. But we know, God, what we are feeling, what we are sensing is you in its many, many forms. So as we gather, it is to worship, to remember the truth that sets us free, and together we affirm it. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good omnipotence. And so it is. Because you know what? Even since Jesus' time, we've always been people. And you know what I mean by that? We've always been separating each other instead of trying to join together, but there's always a mighty few saying, change is possible. We just need to wake up. Right? So say with me, change is possible. Together? Change is possible. Here's the harder part, though, and it starts with me. Say that, and it starts with me. What we always say is, why don't they change? Have you said that? I've said it. I don't mind telling you. What is wrong with them? Right? And so we in our church, we believe so strongly in love. I would say in unity, love is the core value. Raise your hand if you agree with that. Yeah, like no matter what, no matter where you've been, I'm going to do my best to love you. If I can't, I'm going to get some help so I can figure out how. You know, that's how much we want to see the good in you, the God in you. You know, we believe that change is possible because we see that each of us have infinite possibility, that each of us have God within us. We even go so far as to call it the Christ within. Yeah, the Christ within, that no matter where we are, no matter even how old we are, what we've done or haven't done, or where we are in our birth order, what color we are, how big or thin we are, we believe the Christ lives within us. And there's not a thing you can do to get out of that. That you're holy whether you want to believe it or not. We believe it with you and for you. Yeah. There's a family friend, he always says to me, before he hangs up, he says, now, Alice, he calls me by my middle name, Alice, I love you, and there's not a thing you can do about it. He's told me that my whole life. I save all those voicemails from him just for that one little ending. That's what we believe about you in unity. We love you, and there's not a thing you can do about it. We're going to keep loving you. Even if you don't know why we're loving you, we're going to keep doing it. And so this whole month is about living from this higher ideal that we talk about. It's about living from soul. It's about living from that Christ nature. In other words, we're calling ourselves to a higher state of awareness and spiritual activity. And it's really interesting today, this study of karma. I wanted to start here because I'm acknowledging one of my spiritual teachers, Jane Elizabeth Hart. She made her passing the day before Easter this year. She was 90, I think it was 93. And Jane Elizabeth was a really important teacher for me. I met her when she was working at Unity Village, and she had a spiritual group meeting at her home, and later it moved to the church where I was employed, and I became a student of hers. And she taught me about some of the Eastern teachings, even though I was already developing an interest in some of the Eastern teachings. Like I read about Yogananda. Anybody in here ever heard of Paramahansa Yogananda? I started reading about Sai Baba. Anybody ever heard about the ancient teacher Sai Baba? And he passed, 20 years ago probably. But Sai Baba lived in India and did some of the very things Jesus did. And so her teaching woke me up to what was actually possible on the spiritual journey, and it helped me understand Jesus even more. So my foundational teaching was Jesus. I grew up in the Methodist church. I grew up in a Baptist school, and I attended church nearly every day. Well, at the Baptist school, we had chapel every single day. Every single day. And then at night, we'd have church on Wednesday night. And then on Sunday, we'd be opening the church on Sunday. The Andersons opened the church. That's just how it was. Us and Mr. Owl, who made the biscuits. But we opened. He was a World War I veteran that I grew up knowing. Incredible human being. So I've been on this spiritual journey for a really long time. And what I love is that in unity, we're not afraid to ask questions. Raise your hand if you love that about unity. Right? I said a couple of weeks ago, half the people in here asked questions in Sunday school and got kicked out. And somebody came up to me and said, that's exactly what happened. People said, I would walk to Sunday school and I asked the wrong questions and I got kicked out. I said, well, in unity, you can ask all the questions you want. They're welcomed because we're not scared of new knowledge and information. And yet we're based in ancient teachings of the Bible. In fact, I would say unity is a return to first century Christianity. You like that idea? It's like we're trying to see and understand what Jesus did and say, how can I do that? How can I do that? And so it's interesting to me that some of the teachings of Hinduism really blessed my journey because I understood in Hinduism, is very interesting, they refer to God as mother. Well, what do we say in unity? Mother, Father, God, don't we? We're trying to get the dual aspects. And so, my friends, when so many places are separating us by religion, I want you to hear me say we are more the same than different. And I really do believe that the Eastern teaching and some of the Western ideas, those need to come together. And we're all seeking to know God through our spiritual path and journey. And this has been since the beginning of time. We have always tried to understand what made it all? How are we here? What is our nature? Why do we do the things we do? So I want you to know that today's teaching comes right out of the Bible, and yet I'm going to also reference Hinduism, and you're going to see so many places that we're the same. It's why you find so many people doing yoga and meditating. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you never heard of such a thing. So I want to just show you these scriptures, and there's four different scriptures that all lead to this idea of karma. And I'm also going to tell you, no one stays under the law. You're only under the law of karma if you choose to stay asleep. Did you hear that? Everybody throws this word around, karma, and you're going to have a full understanding before you leave today. Because people talk about it, my good karma, my bad karma, oh, it's their karma. I want you to know exactly what you're saying and what you're hearing and what it means for you in your journey, because it is very, very important. So look at this from Galatians 6. Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. Now we know what that means. What? Yeah, okay, here's another one. Whoever digs a pit will fall into it. If someone rolls a stone, it will what? Roll back on them. Yeah, this is what we call Southern common sense. All right. Okay. So in Matthew, well, here's another Southern. If you play with dirt, you're going to get dirt on you. Okay? All right. Or there's another word we use, but it's not suitable for the platform. Okay. Matthew 7. So in everything, listen to this one. So in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you. For this sums up the law and the prophets. My friends, this is a book of Matthew. This is New Testament stuff. You hear that? Let's read that one again. Go back to that one. So in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you, for this sums up the law and the prophets. In other words, if you can just figure out how to be kind to the people around you, you're going to get kindness and goodness back. It's that simple. Will you say to the person next to you, it's really that simple? It's really that simple. Okay. All right, so we'll look at last scripture I wanted to mention today. Give and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be poured into your lap. And the rest of that is, for the measure you give is the measure you get back. So, what is this law I'm talking about? Yeah. Sometimes it's called the law of cause and effect. Karma, the word karma only means, very simply, action. Yeah. But now, what is the intention behind the action is what creates what comes back. It's what creates the cycle. Exactly. Exactly. And the scriptures tell us what? Whatever you put out is what you're going to what? That's right. What does science say? For every action, there's an equal and opposite what? I'm telling you, friends, a truth is a truth is a truth on every level. There's an old country song. I can't help it. I do love country. And are you shocked? And there's an old country song that says, when you go across the railroad tracks in your truck, if you hit it too quick, it'll hit you right back. That's a song. A friend of mine who teaches composition goes, I can't believe these songs make money. But they do. In other words, whatever action you put out, that's the action you're going to get. And that's karma. That's karma. Karma means action. But what is the intention behind the action? Because you can do one activity with two different intentions, and the energy is totally different. Have you ever helped somebody out of pure love and felt that? But then have you ever helped somebody out of obligation and felt that? Raise your hand if you know what I mean. Is it different? It is, right? It's totally different. Because one, you're trudging along, you don't want to do it. As a matter of fact, you might even snap at somebody while you're doing it. Why am I doing this today? Right? Or you're doing it with pure love and the service is a joy. So I want to talk about the difference between good and bad karma. And I have a dear friend who something bad happens in her life. She always says, oh, well, it just must be my karma. I said, yeah, but you know what? You can change it. And she goes, I know. There's something to heal here. There's something to heal. I said, oh, definitely. So here is the Eastern teaching of karma. I'll just tell you what it is. It's not a secret. You could Google it right now and find this out. I'm not trying to hide anything. I want to give you the most truth I know at any given time. And I've studied this at length. And basically, in the Eastern teachings, there is a belief that you are reincarnated lifetime after lifetime. And that whatever you do this lifetime not only impacts you right now, but in the lives to come. Okay, is everybody aware of that? And even the idea is that in consciousness, as you grow and mature, first you start as a mineral, then you go to a plant, and then you go to an animal, and then finally, you're a human being. I think it's probably the opposite, but nobody asked me that. Okay. That's a whole nother deep dive study. I'm telling you, the indigenous way would say it's the opposite. But anyway, we're going to stop with that. So the good and bad karma. Okay. And so the idea is everything you do has what the mystics call, a vibration, right? You've seen that. We know every word we say is a vibration. Are you aware of that? Shake your head, yes. Many of you have heard of Dr. Emoto, who did the Messages in Water book years ago. Remember? He said if you put water in the ice cube trays and you say words like hate and stuff, it crystallizes literally in a different way. Are you familiar with that? Okay, so in other words, our words, what we say, has vibrational reality and goes out to create a certain energy in the world. And so everything we see in our world right now is a result of all of our words and vibrational activities. That whatever we say puts out a vibrational energy into the world. Everything. And so you say, well, what about grace? We're going to get there. But right now, I'm telling you, every word you say has a meaning and an energy. Everything. And it's almost like it's objective. If you say the word hate, that has a different energy than love. It just does. It has a different vibrational meaning. And imagine saying, for instance, every day, the Lord's Prayer. There is a certain vibrational energy of the Lord's Prayer, not only because of how many times it's been said, but because Jesus himself prayed it and said, this is how you pray. You see what I'm saying? You see how these ideas are so interrelated of our words creating our reality of whatever energy we put out is the energy you get back with this ancient idea of karma. And I'm sure one of the reasons this is an ancient idea is not just because it's true. It's because without realizing this, a society dies. It destroys itself. It's why every great mind and heart we've ever seen practices this at the highest level. Not just good karma, but what I call no karma. And the no karma, most people never hear about no karma. And because no karma is when you dedicate, listen to this, no karma is when you dedicate all your actions to God. Yes, ma'am, get off the wheel of karma. It's called the wheel of karma because every time you do something, it goes round and round and round and round. In the Bible, it says Ezekiel saw the wheel. I wonder if it was a wheel of karma. What was it? I wonder about that. Could it be? Could it be? By the way, during Jesus' time, there were teachings of reincarnation. As a matter of fact, people said to Jesus, "Are you Elijah?" Anybody seen that in the Bible? That's referencing reincarnation, my friends. Some people are scared of that. I'm not scared of it. What if it was? What if it wasn't? I'm going to learn something. I'm never going to lose Jesus over a new idea. If my faith is that weak, I've got a problem. Right? I know my God connection. Just because I learned something new doesn't mean all of a sudden everything I believe is wrong. It means, wow, maybe I want to look at this again. Maybe there's more for me to learn. Maybe God is bigger than I thought. And I will tell you, my idea of God has been blown so many times. And I'm so grateful because my idea of God used to be very small. And now I know God is in the very air I breathe. He's not sitting up on a throne in the sky, long gray beard and a big gold G on. That's Hollywood. That's Hollywood's version, isn't it? So I read a book years ago on forgiveness, and basically the way to get off the wheel of karma is to forgive. Forgive, forgive, forgive. Say that with me. Forgive, forgive, forgive. In a world that's desperately trying to be right all the time, forgiveness is getting lost. So I'm lifting it up for us as a reminder. Forgive, forgive, forgive. And I've had people say, I don't know how. I'll say, have you tried? Have you tried? There's a lot of ways to forgive. There are deep, deep processes I can get you on doing. There's a process you can do sitting right where you are right at this very minute. And that's the one we're going to talk about today. There's one I can give you that you can do going to sleep at night. But this one came to me in a time when I was going through some things personally, and everything that was coming to me felt like felt bigger than it was. Have you ever felt like that? My mom would call that when your nerves feel on end. She would say, my nerves are on end. Calm down. Everybody calm down. I need a minute. Go outside. My nerves are on end. And that's how I felt. Everything that was coming to me, I was in reaction mode. And so I said, I've got to realize that what people are saying to me is really not about them at all. They're just being normal human beings. But I was in an inner turmoil, in other words. Now, psychologically, that's called projection, isn't it? I was projecting my inner turmoil onto everybody else. We're going deep today. We're going everything from Jung to Hinduism. I'm glad y'all are with me. And if not, you're pretending very well. But anyway, back to this point, I needed this idea of forgiveness. And so what I would do, as somebody came to talk to me about the toilet backing up at the church or whatever, I would just be listening, thinking, this is not my job. No, I would just be listening. And I would be saying in my mind, I forgive you. I forgive you. Yep. Now, you're feeling this already. There's a different energy in the room. Are you feeling that? Okay. I just had to drop from this part of my, right to my heart. So I listened from a different space. And as I started to do that, something interesting happened. I got this picture of the cosmos behind somebody speaking to me. It was like I saw the stars and the dark sky. I mean, it was magical. And I said, oh, this is what the mystics remind us of, It's not about this and that. It's not about good and bad. It's really about this higher energy that is forgiveness for all. And I want you to remember, this are some of Jesus' last words to us. The grace that comes with this idea, right? So I forgive you. It's a mantra. All a mantra means is what? I'm going to just repeat it over and over and over. Yeah, and what happens is, the point is not the mantra. The point is the energy you get to from the mantra. So I was working with somebody years ago on, what's it called? It's a certain kind of prayer. It's where you repeat a word as a mantra. Centering prayer, is that what it's called? I don't know why I'm spacing on the name, but it's where you say a word over and over and over like that, you know? What's that? You guys know a lot, but no, you're all wrong. I'm just kidding. It could be all of those things. Yes, it's an affirmation. Yes, that's not the word I'm looking for, but I'll get it probably for the end of the service. And if not, hey, Google will help you. But it's where you take a word and you repeat it like this. It's like peace, peace, peace. And so it's like as you affirm it like a mantra, over time, what happens is the word falls away, but the energy stays. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I was working with a lady, and she said, I was doing that prayer you told me to do, and I was doing peace and everything. And all of a sudden, I forgot the word. I said, perfect. You did it right. She said, well, I thought maybe I did it wrong. I forgot the word. Now I said, I got to get back to peace, peace, peace. I said, no. You did it right because the word settled your mind, and all of a sudden your heart was able to just be peace. Does that make sense? Right? And so that's the idea with this. So when you hear the word mantra, it doesn't mean anything bad or you're not worshiping an idol. I mean, some people go so crazy when they hear an Eastern word. All this means is, it's a repeated spiritual idea. It's a mantra. I forgive you. I forgive you. And pretty soon, that energy begins to resonate in your heart, and you forget the madness and the chatter, and you move from the mind into the heart. And that's where the soul of you connects with God. You know that. That's where the soul connects. You feel it in yourself. If you haven't felt it in a while, this is your work this week. I gave you the simplest forgiveness process I know. I can give you a process where you have to journal for 3 weeks and everything else. I want you to do this one because God is as close as your very breath. And sometimes simply deciding you want to be in forgiveness starts to shift the energy for you. It really, really does. So when people ask me about grace and this idea of karma, well, the truth is, grace is inherent in the law of karma, in the law of cause and effect. Because not every thought we think instantly manifests. I mean, thank goodness, right? If I said to you right now, don't think of a pink elephant, what are you going to think about? We'd have a room of pink elephants right now, and that's not happening, okay? But, so grace is inherent in the law. And anytime we change our mind, remember all last month was about freeing our mind. And last week was about do not conform to this age, but be what? Transformed by the renewing of your mind, right? And so simply the decision, please stay with me, the decision to not, right? So say it in your mind, I'm deciding to choose grace. I'm deciding to get off this wheel of karma. I'm deciding to quit blaming everyone and move into grace through forgiveness. Start with yourself. Start with the people closest to you. No matter what they're saying to you about the dishes, about the laundry, about the house, about something that costs a lot, about something that needs to be fixed, I want you to have in your mind, I forgive you. I forgive you. You might say, but I'm not holding any unforgiveness. Don't worry about it. Keep saying it. Because the energy will shift in your heart. It will make you more open, more expansive, to live from the place that Christ lived. So I want to give you one last bit of information, because in the Bible, we don't see a lot about Jesus from age 12 to, anybody know to what age? Scholars now believe that Jesus probably, what's that? Traveled in India. Yes. Yes. And what I know is that all of the master teachers say basically the same thing. So, my friends, forgiveness is a key it's really a tool in your spiritual toolbox. But for me, it's the key to all other things. My top 3 practices I do spiritually are meditate, forgive, and tithe. Those are the top 3. Meditation connects me to God. Forgiveness helps me let go of the old. And tithing helps me trust God as source. That's my practice. And that's it day after day after day. This is how I've helped people for over 20 years with those 3. So I'm giving you one of the keys to knowing God more fully. Forgive. Forgive everyone for everything all the time, especially if they don't deserve it. Yeah. So let's take a few deep breaths, and Will's going to help us move into meditation. Henry's leading our meditation. Just take a few deep breaths, getting comfortable where you are, remembering that we dedicate all action to God for no karma. Bless you, my friends.
As we enter into this time of meditation, find a gentle position, comfortable position. Take in a deep breath. Exhale gently as you can. It is from this sacred space that we invite the divine flow, God's presence within us, as us. It is from that presence within us and as us that we have freedom. Take in another gentle breath. And as you do so, take in the golden light. Take it in from the crown of your head, through every cell in your body. Let it fill your very being. And as you do so, your thoughts of fear, of resentment, of worry, acknowledge them. Don't judge them. They are not you. And gently imagine that golden light within you is wiping away those thoughts and every burden. You become lighter. And you just feel the warmth of that golden light, releasing everything. Now gently and consciously take in another deep breath. And release everything that's been wiped away. And it is released through your fingertips, through the soles of your feet, out through your toes, We thank Divine Source for all that is good. For we are all one, connected in consciousness. We thank that we have the power within to forgive. And now, as we enter this time of stillness and silence for this next few moments, enjoy the warmth of the light that is in you. And as we return gently back to the day, we silently affirm, I am free from fear. I am free from unresentment. I am the divine light and love to this world, to this community. So as we begin our week, may we remember that we are light, we are love, we are peace, we are joy, and it abides within all of us. And when you are ready, gently open your eyes. So it is.
As you return to your day, may you move with a little more ease, a little more awareness, and a deeper trust in the good that is already unfolding. Blessings on the journey.